What's that on your T-shirt?
Oh, it's a Sick Boy T-shirt.
Okay, that's
We
something
just
new to me. I don't know who that is or what that is.
it's a company that sells clothing apparel for
Oh,
motorcycle
okay,
riders.
cool. So, how are you doing?
I'm
You're
doing
on
good.
tour, right?
Yes, sir. We just rolled into town here in St. Louis, Missouri.
So, when's the show kick off today?
We hit the stage about 9:45 tonight.
Okay, and it's what it should be midday with where you are right now, roughly.
It's about, I guess, 12:30, almost one
Yeah,
o'clock. Yes.
yeah. So I've been here. I am sitting in near Frankfurt in Germany. You're way over there in Missouri. So through the wonders of modern technology, here we are on Country Music News International. My name is Nigel Sharpe, and way over there, I'm talking to Mr. Creed Fisher.
Well, thanks
Now,
for having me.
if I've got my facts right, originally you're from Texas, is that right?
I still reside in Texas, born and raised.
Right.
I
You
come
must
from
be.
Texas.
I think you're the third person this week I've spoken to who's from Texas. Everyone's from Texas this week. I'm not quite sure why that is. Yeah, so I've been kind of checking out some of the music videos and such like, and as soon as I actually called up an internet page on you, and I could see a picture of this guy wearing a T-shirt that says "Bad Boy" on it, and there's this guy with dark glasses and a big beard and tattoos. And I'm thinking, okay, this is my kind of guy. And then I listened to some of the music, and the first title that I noticed was Jesus, Haggard, and Jones. And I'm going, okay, this is definitely my kind of guy. This is the stuff I grew up with. And
Now, that's the new single that just came out
yeah.
a few weeks ago.
So you got a new album, right? This is Whiskey and a Dog.
Yes, sir.
Tell me a little bit more about the album. I mean, how did that all come together, and when did it come out, and how's it going?
Well, it dropped for pre-order July 30th, so it's only been a few weeks, and it's 14 new songs. It just happened. I mean, a lot of the music I wrote, I probably wrote half the album within a few weeks. So it was just that's kind of how I write these days. It just kind of comes in spurts. So I was already scheduled to go and cut, some new songs. I wasn't sure what I was going to cut, but I ended up putting together this 14 song new album, which worked out perfectly with the new label coming along, and so yeah, I mean, it's just I don't really know how to, when people ask, what's different, or it's just the same Creed Fisher that you've gotten from the beginning.
Right.
It's songs about everything. It's songs about being out on the road, having to give up, sacrifice a lot of things, to be a touring musician. And his songs, funny songs on there called, there's a song on there called Girls with Big Titties, which will make you laugh. And then there's songs about patriotic stuff. The Good Old US of A is a real patriotic tune. So there's just a little something on there for everybody.
Yeah. I mean, you strike me as a guy who is a patriot.
Absolutely.
And you also strike me as someone who has respect for the people who deserve respect. I noticed you put a little note up on one of the videos that it's the USA. It's dedicated to the military and the firefighters, first responders, and so on.
Our police.
The police, of course.
The song's a very powerful song about what it means to be an American.
Yeah.
So I dedicated that song to all the military, past and present, to the police that risk their life every day out there, and for the first responders, and really, and the firefighters, and just anybody out there that that works hard, to make this country a better place.
So when you're getting down to writing songs, I mean, do they just sort of pop into your mind? Do you ever sit down and say, okay, today I'm going to write a song? Or does it just kind of come naturally to you?
I think there's just certain times where if I haven't written in a while and I just feel like, and I've been going through maybe a little stress or whatever, there's some days I just sit down and I want to write, but a lot of the times it just comes in spurts. It's just ideas that pop in your head. And I've already finished my next album after Whiskey and the Dog. So just not having to write under pressure. I haven't had to write under pressure very often, So I think it works both ways. A lot of times it's just ideas that pop in your head while you're out on the road.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of writing when I'm like traveling down the highway.
So if you've already written the material for the next album, when will you get to record that, and how will you record that?
No, I've already recorded 10 of the 14 songs.
Ah, okay.
So I'm going back in October. I'm going back in October to finish the next 4, and then I'm doing a few other songs. I'm starting a Merle Haggard tribute album. I actually put out 4 albums in 2020.
Okay.
And I've put out 3 albums so far this year.
That's a lot of albums.
It's a lot of material.
Yeah. So you don't have any problems choosing songs for the gigs, I guess?
No, not well. It's become easier. I really like where we're at with the set right now.
Where do all the musicians in the band come from? They look a fairly wild bunch, I have to say.
They come from all different places. Taz, the guitarist, one of the guitarists is from Lansing, Michigan. He was born and raised there, but we all basically live in either Austin or San Antonio area.
Mm-hmm.
But Chuck, the bass player, is from Spartanburg, South Carolina. Emanuele Pistucchi is from Rome, Italy.
Okay.
So it's a very diverse group of people. Jason West, the drummer, is originally from Illinois, where we're at today. So I think he's going to get to see his parents.
Okay.
And then Mick Holdsworth, the steel guy, he's from Prescott, Arizona. And then me and Brantley, the fiddle player, we're from Texas.
Right. How did you hook up with the guy from Italy? How did that come about?
He moved to Austin, Texas, from Italy to pursue music.
So what's your first memory? Let me just change the subject a bit. What's your first memory of country music?
My first memory of country music was just hearing it in the crib. My grandfather and my dad, obviously they had a record player, and they would play that Marty Robbins Gunfighter Ballad album just over and over and over. I bet I heard that 200 times by the time I was 3 years old. So that's the first memory of music, is just listening to that old record player. And they would play they would play Marty Robbins or Don Williams. And then as I got a little bit older, VHS came out.
Okay.
So you could actually take a tape and pop it in and watch a movie, And so I remember being about 5 years old, and George Strait had done a live from Green Hall, I think it was. And that was another big influence that I remember, is just watching that tape over and over, pretended like I was George Strait, and had my grandpa's boots on that were 10 times too big, and his 10-gallon hat, and I'd take a stick and play it like it was a guitar,
Yeah, George Strait, that's some good stuff. And he just came out with hit after hit after hit. It's unbelievable. We used to play a lot of his material back in the 90s on the bases. It was, I think he was kind of like the number one request. It was either George Strait or it was Hank Jr. And where did you first pick up the guitar then? Like a real one?
I first picked up a guitar when I was about 18, and I realized I wasn't very good at it, so I never picked it back up. And then I got to when I started in music, I got divorced when I was 33. So
Yeah.
after I got divorced, I'd always wanted to start a band, and so I started dabbling in it. And then I realized, you know what, you got to learn to play a guitar. I just couldn't stand being up there without a guitar in my hand. So I just went down to the local pawn shop and bought my first guitar and took 2 lessons from the local guy, at the music store. And I bought the book that showed you the chords and just started playing. And at first you're not that good, and you just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And you get a little better and a little better and a little better. And then finally, when I moved to Fort Worth in 2013 to get out of Odessa, Texas. And so it went from a situation where like I was nervous to get up and play my guitar and sing in front of people to a situation where I had to do that to eat.
Yeah.
And pay my rent,
That's right.
And so I just started getting out there and doing it. And I think just the more you do it, you just get a lot better at it, to a point now where, I love getting out, just me and my guitar and playing to people. It's one of my favorite things. I love playing with the band, but just me and my own guitar, it has its own cool thing about it.
I've always felt that, if you've got a good song and you can sing and you can play an acoustic guitar, that's all you need. And, you, especially if you're in front of an audience, because they can see this person is playing with their heart and their soul. They are putting their whole personality into what they're doing. And I think an audience really can see that. And if you're up on the stage as the performer, you can feel it too from the audience.
When you bring everything down and you really touch into them, and the link, they hear the message.
Yeah. Yeah. So Creed, thanks a lot again. Enjoy the rest of the tour, and every success for the album and the next one and the next tour. And
keep an eye out.
Yeah, maybe our paths will cross again one of these days, for real. Good.
I would like that, buddy. I hope that happens someday.
Yeah,
man.
Me too, man.
Thank you so much for having me, buddy.
Okay, thanks to you, and bye.
We'll see you soon, bud.
Yeah, take care.